So our boys Matt and Trey um have been signed with Paramount um because South Park makes them makes people money while the Late Show with Stephen Colbert doesn't. Apparently that show lost like $40 million a year because it's completely one-sided. All his guests are just left-leaning politicians and other activists, and all they do is sit there whining about Trump for however long. It's supposed to be a late-night comedy show, and all they do is Trump, 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 Trump. Oh my God, Trump! Fuck Trump! Oh my God, would you just go away, Trump? No one likes you, Trump, 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 Trump. Every episode, and it's like, well, John, you support Trump. Are you mad about them making fun of him in the last episode of South Park? Why would I be? Clearly, you've never seen South Park before. Then they go after everyone. They've gone after Bush. They've gone after Obama. They've gone after Biden. They go after everyone. No one is safe. So tell me you've never seen South Park without telling me you've never seen South Park. That is what they do. They look at topics that are hot and important right now, and they go after the person who's possibly causing those problems. This is nothing new. This is part of the course for them. This is how they have remained relevant for so long, because most of their episodes don't come out, or they don't think of like ideas or whatever like a few days before release. So that's how they're able to stay relevant. So no, I'm not mad over some fucking jokes because they've made fun of everyone else. If you're on the right and you're seriously getting your fucking panties in a bunch because of some fucking jokes they made about Trump, grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. It's funny. Okay? I'm trying to, I see all these people whining online like, oh my God, they made fun of Trump and blah blah blah, and you know, just very few people. But then you have the left like, oh my God, the right are totally melting down. So I'm like, okay, let me check out these clips and see. I watched them. I'm like, this is funny. This is what you expect from South Park. And isn't like I didn't see the episode, but isn't it revealed to be just like Saddam Hussein disguised as Trump, which makes it even funnier. Ah, come on, guy. Like, but I have no problem with it. It's fun. Again, tell me you've never watched South Park without telling me you've never watched South Park. Paramount Global has resolved a tense standoff with South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone, signing a 5-year, $1.5 billion deal for exclusive global streaming rights and 10 new episodes annually on Paramount Plus. The contract was finalized just in time for the delayed season 27. 27. Yeah. 27 premiere following public threats of legal action from Parker and Stone. This marks a significant alignment between the creator demands and Paramount's content strategy and comes amid broader organizational upheaval. At the same time, Paramount has announced it will cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert because it's losing them money, scheduled to air through May 2026. The networks cited purely financial. Again, $40 million a year. That's a lot of money being lost because these people, all they do is whine about Donald Trump, and people are tuning out. They're tuning out. They're tired of it. People, like I've said before, a couple jokes here or there that would, but these people, it's like one night they turn it on. So Donald Trump, and they're like, oh boy, another Donald Trump joke. Well, I guess I will just tune in tomorrow night and see if anything changes. And then they tune in the next night. Donald Trump. It's like, oh boy, talking about Donald Trump again. And they did this even when President Biden was there. Biden's president, and instead of talking about how at the time Biden was ruining the fucking country and talking about his failed pullout of Afghanistan, no. You want to know what they're whining about? Donald Trump. It was insane. For 4 years, Biden was in charge, and they were still whining about Donald Trump. And People are tired of that. That's why things like South Park work so well, because they bash everyone. And then you have Stephen Colbert is like, oh, here, my next guest, governor or congresswoman, they're all left leaning activists or lefty government officials. What happened to having, I don't know, celebrities? What happened to the comedy? You know, and people are tired of watching that shit. Um, despite consistent number one ratings in the 9 seasons, but when you're putting him against crap like Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, yeah, being number one isn't exactly. They all do the same thing. So Donald Trump tweeted this morning. I know, right? So he mentioned, and they just constant Trump, 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 Trump. They they hate the man so much. They talk more about Trump than his own fucking supporters do. It's fucking ridiculous. Um, However, Colbert and the other late night hosts have seen significant declines in viewership and have not topped Gutfeld on Fox News for the top overall late night show in almost 2 years. In fact, Gutfeld regularly has ratings that would beat two of the traditional late night shows combined. Many on the left continue to speculate Paramount's decision was politically motivated, given the network's $16 million settlement with Donald Trump over the 60-minute interview and the timing of the negative review with Skydance Media, prompting accusations that Paramount chose to discipline its most outspoken liberal voice. Support for Colbert poured in from across the late-night landscape. Jon Stewart lambasted Paramount on The Daily Show, accusing the company of cowardice and urging them to go fuck yourself. Jimmy Fallon and other hosts voiced solidarity, with Fallon quipping he might be next on the chopping block. Meanwhile, the WGA flagged Paramount's decision as potentially politically driven, arguing it sends a threatening message to satirical speech. Shut the fuck up. It's not satirical. You know, like I said, once in a while, once in a blue moon, that's fine. But all they do is whine and bitch and complain about Donald Trump. That's all they do. Every guest, every person they have on, it's just a back and forth about who hates Donald Trump the most. Can't imagine why people are tuning out. Sonny Hostin, of The View, went the farthest, perhaps, declaring that Stephen Colbert losing a show, which has reportedly lost $40 million per year for years, was a danger to the Constitution of the United States. Shut the fuck up. It's a business. It's a business. When you are working for a business and you are no longer making that business money, you're subject to termination. That goes for any job. Nothing to do with political views. If you are losing a company $40 million a year, you could always just, I don't know, go back to being an actual late night talk show comedian. Could you do that? Have actual guests on your show talk about shit that doesn't, revolve around Donald Trump? You could do that. But as long as you continue to talk about Donald Trump every single night, you're going to lose the people money, and then they're just going to say, you know what? We're losing way too much money right now. We're in a business to make money, not lose it. So, sorry, you got to go. No one goes into a business or brings people in to lose money. You start a business to make money. So if Stephen Colbert wants to keep running his mouth, that's fine. He has the free speech. He can do whatever he wants. But considering he is working for someone else, him losing $40 million a year, it's going to cost him. So maybe he should start his own company where he can ramble on and bitch and complain about Donald Trump all he wants and not have to worry about being fired. No, it's always Donald Trump's fault. More somber-minded and sane view of the situation, however, reveals that Paramount is likely aiming for less partisan fare, likely at the behest of Skydance. Otherwise, why pay massive money to get the rights of South Park? The juxtaposition of these two deals suggests Paramount may be shifting its focus toward less politically charged comedy, even though, again, South Park, it deals with current events. It's just clever the way it does it. I've said before, sometimes you don't even know what the fucking episode's about until the end. You know, you might have a moment like back in the old days where you hear one of them. I learned something today. Like that running joke that they have with that. Um, but sometimes you don't even know what the episode is about until the end, or maybe part way through, where it finally clicks in your brain, like, oh, that's good. That's good. You know, it does it in a clever way to where it's fun to watch because the characters are lovable, the writing is good, and it makes it fun to watch. That's how South Park has existed for so long because it takes political commentary and transforms it into a way that's fun to watch, regardless of what side you're on. Again, I watch these clips and I'm like, I don't see a problem here. I like Trump, and yet I found these clips funny. I always find this, especially with South Park. And I'm thinking, how can anyone be pissed off at this? It's crazy. It's crazy. South Park, while known for satirical fire, delivers its critiques through a cartoon lens, yep, arguably detached from direct partisan targeting. Exactly. That's why a lot of the times they don't even make it obvious. They'll have like stand-ins or certain figures or whatever the case is, and they do it in a clever way. Even when you have someone like Trump, who's like they have the character right there with Trump's face on it, it still is fun to watch. It's still funny. I don't see the issue here, people. Um, Making it more palatable to a broader, yeah, exactly, because it pisses everybody off, which means everyone can enjoy it. The people on the left, it's like, oh, they're making fun of the right. I'm gonna watch it. People on the right, oh, they're making fun of the left. It pisses everyone off. It brings people together. In contrast, Colbert has been an overt critic of Trump and conservative politics, most recently labeling the Trump settlement as a bribe, Nate Silver. And though South Park has mocked President Trump repeatedly, even through entire seasons, they are renowned for taking on all sides and not catering to any particular political point of view. Exactly. Exactly. That's what, unlike things like maybe Simpsons or Family Guy that have started leaning towards more of one political side, South Park doesn't do that. They go after everyone. The timing is notable. Paramount's aggressive investment in South Park comes as Skydance prepares for an $8 billion acquisition, pending FCC and regulatory approval, a process where perceived neutrality may be rewarded. Meanwhile, Colbert, a perceived ratings powerhouse, was sacrificed, raising questions about the company's threshold for financially and politically costly programs, which seem answered by the South Park decision. Carousel of celebrities criticizing the business move. Oh no. As some sort of inappropriate overture of President Trump, seems to fall under scrutiny and only makes people like Weird Al and Adam Sandler, both of whom are normally far outside, tarnished by being associated with such a colossal failure. Yeah, you have people like Weird Al and Adam Sandler and all these people who kind of stay out of the limelight. But I've seen several things, and I mean about with Adam Sandler, and people were like, this dude seems pretty based. You know, he's I mean the fact that him and like Rob Schneider have been friends for so fucking long, they still talk to each other every day. That's the kind of friend you want. That's the kind of friend you want. Rob Schneider also very vocal um, about political issues right now. Um, But yeah, Adam Sandler. People were like, this dude's incredibly based, man. You know, his movies may have gotten worse in recent years, but this dude seems like a really good friend. He seems like a really cool, chill, down to earth dude, and he'll speak up if he needs to about whatever's happening on either side. And again, like basically the fact that him and Rob Schneider call each other every night to say I love you. That's adorable. They don't actually do that, but that's the kind of friendship they have. That's the kind of friend people should strive to have. But it's sort of sad to watch the old guard circling the wagon and screeching about the injustice of financial failure after being taken off the air. It's like a football team that refuses to accept the scoreboard, blaming on the referee, even when the game was never close. In this case, there is a winner. It's South Park, and maybe the other winner is the consumer.
Yes, I say that is a fair assessment.
Who will be given a viciously funny show that pokes its finger in the eye of both sides.
There is a lot of humor and a lot of attacks towards both sides. A lot of humor and attacks on both sides. They go after the left, they go after the right, they go after the middle, they go after things that aren't even human.
But perhaps that's the cathartic thing society needs right now. It certainly seems to be what the market needs. So goodbye, Colbert. Welcome back, Cartman. Cartman. Our little Eric Cartman. The point with Cartman, it's like he's such a terrible person that people are like, oh my god, that's totally me. It's like that's not the point. If you align with Cartman, you're the bad guy here. While you can like the character of Cartman, you can think he's funny, thinking or believing and all the same things that Cartman believes, that makes you the bad guy. So it's okay to laugh at the Jew jokes. It's okay to laugh whenever he spews a racial slur. That's okay because it's played off as humor. But if you're sitting there like, oh my god, he's literally me, you're the problem. And you're the kind of person that Matt and Trey are going after when it comes to that character. But imagine that, a show that's wildly popular and profitable gets picked back up while the other that's lost 200 million over the past 4 years due to declining viewership and ad revenue is canceled. It's like Paramount is putting necessities ahead of ideology. Yeah, imagine that.
A tiny bicicleta.
But yeah, good on them. Again, for anyone who's whining, complaining, like, oh my god, I can't believe they made fun of Trump, and clearly you've never watched South Park before. Clearly you've never watched it because you would have known that they've gone after everyone. They went after Bush, they've gone after Obama, they've gone after Biden. Now it's Trump's turn. Of course, they did make got him with last time with the with Mr. Garrison. He was like the stand-in for Trump at that time. But again, the show is so cleverly written that it doesn't matter because they're jokes. They're just jokes. And they do it in such a way that it's fun to watch regardless of what political side you're on. But I'm glad that they got picked up. They definitely deserve it. They've been doing this for so long. Yeah. Since like, what, 97, 98? I think it was like 97, 98. Hang on. Yeah, I looked it up. August 1997. So it's been around for quite some time, and there's a reason they've lasted this long. Matt and Trey are just extremely great writers. They're very witty. I mean, the Book of Mormon. But when it comes to that kind of political commentary, they do it in such a way that's fun for anyone to watch. Whether you agree with it, whether you don't, they do it in a way that's fun to watch and it makes you laugh. And that's the point when you have political commentary or, in this case, comedy. That is what these late night shows should be, where they're not direct attacks and vicious things, being said against a person. They're jokes. That's what comedy is, jokes. But when you sit there and oh fuck Donald Trump and oh I can't wait to piss on his grave, those are no longer jokes. That's just you bitching, complaining about a man for soon to be 15 fucking years. But grats to Matt and Trey. They definitely deserve it. They work hard to get this stuff done. Like I said, a few days or so before release day for them, and they've been doing this so long. They're masters of their trade. So big respect to them. And as long as there's stuff happening in the world, I don't think Matt and Trey will be going away with South Park anytime soon. Um, so season 27, let's look forward to another 27 seasons. But anyway, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later.